Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something that most people never face: the fear of losing. You see, the world doesn't reward people who play it safe. The universe doesn't hand over success to those who tiptoe around life, hoping nothing bad will happen. If you are afraid to lose, if you shrink back when the stakes are high, then let me be brutally honest. You don't deserve to win. Winning is not for the cautious. Winning is not for those who sit on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment. Winning is for those who are willing to risk everything, who are willing to embrace failure as a stepping stone, who are willing to walk through fire just to feel the heat of their own potential. Fear is a poison. Fear whispers in your ear, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? What if it doesn't work? And if you listen to that voice, it will paralyze you. It will rob you of the greatness that is your birthright. The truth is this: every single person who has ever achieved something extraordinary, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every visionary, has been afraid, but they did it anyway. They acted in spite of fear, and that is the difference between winners and everyone else. I want you to imagine your life as a battlefield. On this battlefield, every victory comes with risk. Every meaningful achievement demands that you put yourself on the line. And if you refuse to risk, if you refuse to put yourself out there, then you are not in the fight at all. You are watching from the bleachers while someone else takes the prize that could have been yours. Ask yourself, are you willing to lose? Are you willing to risk humiliation, failure, and rejection? Because the moment you embrace that risk, something powerful happens. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop playing small. You start moving with a force that cannot be stopped. You begin to operate at a level where winning is no longer a dream. It's inevitable. But here's the catch: winning does not mean you never fail. Winning does not mean life will be easy. Winning means you fail, you stumble, you fall flat on your face, and then you get up again, stronger, smarter, more determined than ever. Winning is the courage to continue when everyone else would quit. Winning is the audacity to go after what you want even when the odds are stacked against you. So today, I challenge you. I challenge you to take off the blinders. Look at your life and ask yourself, how many opportunities have you let slip away because you were afraid? How many dreams have died in your heart because you were terrified to risk losing? It's time to make a decision. It's time to stand up and say, I will no longer be ruled by fear. I will no longer be a prisoner of my own doubts. I will risk it all because I deserve to win. You see, the truth is simple. The people who win are not necessarily the smartest. They are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who are willing to take the leap, to risk the fall, to face the fear head on, and to keep moving forward no matter what. If you are afraid to lose, you are already losing. If you are afraid to fail, you are already falling behind. But if you embrace the fear, if you stare it down and move forward anyway, then you are on the path to greatness. Winning is a choice, and that choice begins the moment you decide that fear will no longer control your destiny. You can play it safe, you can stay comfortable, you can avoid the risk, but the price for that is your dreams. Or you can step into the arena, risk everything, and claim the life you were born to live. The question is not whether you can win. The question is, are you willing to risk losing? If the answer is yes, then there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Fear of losing is one of the most powerful forces that will ever stand in your way, and yet it is also one of the most invisible. Most people don't realize how deeply it controls their decisions because it hides behind excuses, rationalizations, and the illusion of safety. It whispers to you that you should wait for the perfect moment, that you should play it safe, that you should avoid stepping into situations where the outcome is uncertain. And the more you listen, the more your dreams shrink, the more your potential is buried beneath layers of hesitation and doubt. Fear of losing is not just a momentary feeling. It is a habit, a pattern that dictates where you go, who you associate with, and how you show up in life. It can be subtle, like declining an opportunity because you think you're not ready, or it can be glaringly obvious, like avoiding challenges because you are terrified of failure. Either way, it erodes your confidence and limits the life you can create. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who have achieved greatness. Did they succeed because they were never afraid? Absolutely not. They were afraid. They felt the trembling in their chest, the doubt in their mind, the insecurity in their voice. But they didn't let that fear make the decision for them. They recognized it, confronted it, and moved forward anyway. Fear of losing is not a sign that you are weak. It is a signal that you are on the threshold of growth, that the next step requires courage. And here's the truth. If you are unwilling to feel that fear, to stare it down and take action regardless, then you are automatically excluding yourself from the possibility of true success. Fear is not your enemy. In fact, it is your guide, showing you where your edge is, showing you where you have the chance to expand, showing you exactly where your growth will happen. Most people live their entire lives avoiding risk. They build walls around themselves, convincing themselves that safety is more important than achievement. They will say things like, "I don't want to fail," or "I can't handle disappointment," as if these statements are protecting them. But what they fail to realize is that avoiding risk is not protection. It is limitation. Every opportunity you pass up, every challenge you decline, every risk you refuse to take is a brick in the wall that separates you from your potential. Fear of losing keeps you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity, in a life that feels comfortable but ultimately unfulfilled. You might think that playing it safe will keep you secure, but the reality is that security without growth is an illusion. Real security comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you because you have built resilience through experience, through action, through daring to face uncertainty head on. There is a profound difference between being cautious and being controlled by fear. Caution allows you to make informed decisions, to prepare, to strategize, and to plan. Fear of losing paralyzes you. It keeps you from starting, from speaking up, from taking the leap that could change everything. It keeps you small, keeping you inside the box while the world outside is waiting for you to step up. And the longer you remain in that box, the more your confidence erodes, the more your self-belief diminishes, and the more distant your dreams become. Fear of losing is like a shadow. It grows larger the more you try to avoid it. The only way to shrink it is to confront it, to walk straight into the uncertainty that scares you, to move even when your mind screams that you should stay put. Ask yourself this: how many times have you let fear dictate your choices? How many opportunities have you passed up because the possibility of losing felt too heavy, too real, too threatening? The truth is, those moments define your life far more than the moments you act. Every time you choose safety over risk, you are choosing limitation over expansion. You are telling the universe that you are not ready for the next level, not ready to grow, not ready to embrace the full scope of your potential. And while it may feel comfortable now, the discomfort of a life unlived will grow over time. Fear of losing is not an obstacle to be ignored. It is a test to be passed, a challenge to be met, a fire to walk through if you want to claim the success that is waiting for you. Winning requires taking risks and stepping out of your comfort zone, and yet so many people never reach their full potential because they refuse to embrace this truth. Comfort feels safe, it feels familiar, it feels predictable, but comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort lulls you into mediocrity, tricking you into believing that staying in your safe little bubble will keep you happy and secure. But the reality is that your dreams, your goals, your true potential will never be realized in that bubble. Success, real success, comes to those who are willing to step into the unknown, to face the uncertainty, to challenge themselves every single day. And here's the key. If you are unwilling to take risks, If you refuse to move beyond the boundaries of what feels comfortable, you are automatically limiting the size of your life. Think about what stepping out of your comfort zone really means. It's more than just trying something new or different. It's about embracing uncertainty, accepting the possibility of failure, and moving forward even when the outcome is unclear. Every significant achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of transformation has required someone to leave the familiar behind. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait until the timing felt right. They didn't wait until fear had vanished. They acted despite the fear, and in doing so, they opened doors that would have remained closed forever if they had chosen comfort over courage. The comfort zone is a trap disguised as safety. It feels easy, it feels secure, but it is silently killing your potential, shrinking your vision, and keeping your greatness out of reach. Every time you take a risk, every time you push past the fear of the unknown, something powerful happens inside of you. Your confidence grows, your resilience strengthens, and your sense of self-worth expands. Risks are not just about external outcomes. They are about internal growth. The very act of stepping out of your comfort zone trains your mind and your spirit to handle challenges, to adapt, to innovate, to thrive under pressure. This is why those who achieve extraordinary results are often the ones who have been willing to take the biggest risks. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's the willingness to put yourself on the line, to face discomfort, to lean into the unknown, and to act with courage even when fear is screaming at you to retreat. Most people fail to understand that risk is not something to be avoided. It is something to be embraced strategically. Every risk carries a lesson, every failure carries an opportunity, and every moment of discomfort is a chance to grow. You can never fully prepare for the unknown, but you can develop the mindset that allows you to handle it when it comes. And that mindset is built through repeated acts of courage, through repeated decisions to act despite fear, and through repeated experiences of stepping into situations where you have no guarantee of success. The moment you stop fearing risk and start seeking it as a vehicle for growth, everything changes. You begin to see challenges as opportunities, obstacles as training grounds, and failures as stepping stones toward your ultimate success. Ask yourself, how many times have you avoided taking action because the risk felt too high? How many dreams have remained unrealized because you stayed within the familiar, waiting for conditions to be perfect, for fear to vanish, for certainty to appear? The truth is, there is no such thing as certainty in life. There is only action and the willingness to step into the unknown, to take calculated risks, and to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain. Those who succeed understand that risk is not something to fear, it is something to master. Every risk taken wisely, every challenge embraced, every leap into discomfort builds a foundation for success that comfort can never provide. Stepping out of your comfort zone is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice. Every choice you make is an opportunity to stretch, to challenge yourself, to grow stronger, to expand your life. Comfort will always try to pull you back, but every step you take beyond it compounds your growth. Success demands courage. It demands action. It demands that you do things today that most people won't do, so that tomorrow you can achieve things most people can only dream about. Those who hesitate, who shrink back, who cling to comfort, will never experience the life they are capable of creating. But those who are willing to risk, to step out, to confront fear and uncertainty, will discover levels of fulfillment, achievement, and purpose that far exceed anything they imagined was possible. Failure is a necessary part of the path to victory, and yet so many people are terrified of it. They think failure is the enemy, something to be avoided at all costs, a mark of weakness or incompetence. But the truth is that failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your guide, your most powerful ally if you know how to use it. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, athlete, leader, and innovator has failed more times than most people can imagine. They didn't fail because they lacked skill. They failed because they were reaching for something greater than their current circumstances. Failure is the evidence that you are trying, that you are pushing the boundaries of your comfort, that you are moving toward growth. Without failure, there is no progress, no evolution, no transformation. When you fail, it is not a reflection of your worth or your ability. It is simply feedback. It is information about what doesn't work, what needs adjustment, what you need to learn to move forward. Yet most people interpret failure as a verdict, a judgment, a sign that they should stop, give up, or settle. This mindset is a trap, because every failure you encounter contains within it the seed of your next success. The sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner you stop fearing failure and start using it as fuel. Failure becomes a signal pointing you in the right direction, showing you where your effort is falling short, and highlighting areas where your creativity, persistence, or strategy needs refinement. Without failure, you never gain clarity. Without failure, you never understand your strengths or your weaknesses. Without failure, you never discover the resilience and determination that define true winners. Think about the mechanics of growth. Growth happens when you stretch beyond what you know, when you attempt things that are uncomfortable, when you move into territory that challenges your skills, your mindset, and your limits. And every stretch carries the risk of falling short, of making mistakes, of failing. If you never fail, it is a clear sign that you are staying inside the lines, playing it safe, and never reaching for more. True victory is built on a foundation of lessons learned from failure. Every mistake, every setback, every disappointment contains critical insight that, if applied, accelerates your path to mastery. The moment you stop fearing failure is the moment you begin to unlock exponential growth. You start experimenting, iterating, improving, and evolving at a pace that fear and avoidance can never produce. Many people fail to see that failure is not a destination. It is a process. It is a step on a journey that requires persistence, adaptation, and resilience. The first time you fail, it is discouraging. The second time, it tests your commitment. The third time, it demands that you either rise to the challenge or quit entirely. This is the crucible in which winners are forged. Those who embrace failure as part of the process develop an unshakable confidence, because they understand that their worth is not determined by outcomes, but by their ability to keep moving forward despite outcomes. Failure becomes a teacher, a coach, a motivator, and a mirror that reflects both your limitations and your potential. Ask yourself this: how many dreams have you abandoned because the first obstacle felt insurmountable? How many goals have been postponed because fear of failure whispered that you weren't ready? Every time you let fear of failure stop you, you delay your growth, diminish your confidence, and shrink your life. The truth is, failure is inevitable if you are striving for greatness. You cannot escape it. You can only decide how you respond to it. Will you see it as proof that you are incapable, or will you see it as evidence that you are pushing beyond your limits? Will you allow it to define you, or will you use it to refine yourself, to elevate yourself, and to keep moving forward with greater clarity and strength than before? Failure is not final. It is not a reflection of your potential. It is not a verdict on your ability to succeed. It is a necessary and indispensable part of your journey. Without failure, there is no learning, no evolution, no ultimate victory. Those who achieve greatness are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to be defeated by failure. They use failure as a roadmap, as feedback, as fuel. Every time they fall, they rise higher. Every time they stumble, they gain insight. Every time they encounter a setback, they grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. Failure is not the enemy of success. It is the pathway to it. Courage and persistence define winners, not talent or luck. And yet so many people confuse temporary ability with ultimate success. Talent is useful, luck is appealing, but neither can carry you through the inevitable storms, setbacks, and challenges that life will place in your path. What truly determines whether you rise to greatness is not what you start with, but how you respond when things get hard, when the odds seem stacked against you, when the world seems determined to hold you back. Courage is the willingness to move forward despite fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Persistence is the commitment to keep going when progress is slow, when obstacles appear, when every part of you wants to quit. These two forces, courage and persistence, are what separate the people who achieve extraordinary things from the people who merely dream about them. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the presence of fear. It is the ability to feel the trembling in your chest, the uncertainty in your mind, the hesitation in your legs, and still step forward anyway. Every winner has felt fear. Every person who has achieved something remarkable has faced moments when giving up would have been easier, when quitting would have made sense, when staying safe would have seemed more comfortable. But what sets winners apart is that they refuse to let fear dictate their decisions. They embrace fear as a sign that they are pushing their limits, that they are reaching for something greater than themselves, that they are on the edge of transformation. Courage is the spark that ignites action, and action is the only pathway to results. Persistence, on the other hand, is the relentless refusal to quit. It is the determination to keep moving forward no matter how many times you stumble, no matter how many obstacles appear, no matter how long the journey takes. Persistence is not glamorous, it is not always exciting, but it is the engine behind achievement. Talent can get you started, but persistence carries you through. Talent may open doors, but persistence keeps them open long enough for you to walk through. Luck may create opportunities, but persistence ensures that you capitalize on them. Without persistence, potential fades, dreams die, and abilities go unfulfilled. The people who ultimately win are those who show up day after day, who keep putting in the effort, who refuse to let temporary failure, rejection, or disappointment stop them. Think about the stories of those who have achieved extraordinary things. You will see time and time again that the common thread is not talent or luck. It is courage and persistence. They were willing to take the risk even when it was uncomfortable, even when the outcome was uncertain. They were willing to continue when the world doubted them, when critics laughed, when challenges seemed insurmountable. And through this combination of courage and persistence, they created momentum, built skill, and ultimately achieved results that others thought impossible. No strategy, no plan, no amount of initial ability can replace the relentless pursuit fueled by courage and persistence. These qualities transform ordinary people into legends, failures into success stories, and dreams into reality. Many people give up too soon. They try for a little while, hit a wall, and then retreat, assuming they have failed or that they aren't capable. But this is a misconception. The truth is that the moment you want to quit is usually the moment just before the breakthrough. The moment you feel exhausted, discouraged, or overwhelmed is exactly when persistence begins to pay off. Courage is what allows you to start, but persistence is what allows you to finish. Winners understand this principle. They understand that failure, setbacks, and challenges are not signs to stop. They are signals to adjust, to adapt, and to keep moving. Courage gets you in the game. Persistence keeps you playing until you win. Ask yourself, how often have you let fear or temporary discomfort stop you from taking action? How often have you abandoned your dreams because progress felt slow, challenges felt too big, or results didn't come fast enough? The people who achieve greatness have mastered the art of doing what others won't do, continuing when others quit, and pushing forward when the path seems impossible. Talent alone can inspire admiration, luck alone can create opportunity, but it is courage and persistence that produce true results. These are the forces that build character, develop resilience, and create the unstoppable mindset necessary to overcome any obstacle and reach any goal. Courage and persistence are not optional for those who want to win. They are mandatory. They are the qualities that ensure you will keep moving forward when fear wants to hold you back, when doubt wants to paralyze you, when obstacles want to defeat you. They are the qualities that transform ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Every person who has ever reached the top, every person who has ever created something remarkable, has relied on courage to begin and persistence to finish. Without them, potential remains untapped, dreams remain unrealized, and greatness remains out of reach. Embracing fear allows you to move forward and claim your potential, and yet most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid it. They run from fear, hide from fear, ignore fear, and pretend it doesn't exist. But the reality is that fear is not your enemy. It is a compass pointing directly toward the areas where your growth, your power, and your ultimate success reside. Every time you feel fear, every time your heart races, every time your mind tells you to stop, it is an invitation. It is a signal that you are about to cross a threshold, that you are on the edge of transformation, that you are standing at the doorway to a higher level of achievement. The problem is that most people interpret fear as a stop sign instead of a green light. They let it dictate their choices, dictate their actions, and dictate the size of their life, and as a result, they never realize the fullness of their potential. Fear is universal. Every human being feels it. Every person who has ever done something extraordinary has felt it. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who do not is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act in spite of it. Embracing fear does not mean ignoring it or pretending it isn't there. It means acknowledging it, feeling it, and then taking decisive action anyway. When you do this repeatedly, fear loses its power over you. It no longer controls your decisions, your mindset, or your actions. Instead, it becomes a tool, a fuel for motivation, a signal for opportunity, and a marker that you are on the path to significant growth. The more you embrace fear, the more it shrinks, and the more your confidence, courage, and capability expand. Think about fear as a test. Every time you encounter it, every time you feel it tightening its grip on your mind and body, you are being challenged. You are being asked, are you willing to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain? Are you willing to risk discomfort, embarrassment, or failure in pursuit of something greater? Are you willing to grow? The people who succeed are those who answer yes. To these questions, not just once, but over and over again, they step into fear, they lean into uncertainty, and they move forward despite every doubt and hesitation. This is how potential is claimed. This is how greatness is unlocked. This is how a life that others only dream of is created. Many people mistakenly believe that avoiding fear will keep them safe. They think that if they never feel afraid, they will never fail, never suffer, never experience disappointment. But this is a lie. Avoiding fear does not protect you. It limits you. It keeps you small. It keeps you comfortable. It keeps you trapped in a life that is far below your potential. True security, true confidence, comes from learning how to face fear and still take action. It comes from proving to yourself day after day that you are bigger than your doubts, stronger than your hesitations, and more capable than your anxiety. Fear cannot stop you if you refuse to let it. Fear can only dominate those who surrender to it, who allow it to dictate the terms of their life, who let it decide what they are capable of achieving. Ask yourself, how often have you let fear determine your choices? How many opportunities have you passed up because the risk felt too great or the outcome felt uncertain? How many dreams have you abandoned because fear whispered that you weren't ready, that you weren't strong enough, that you might fail? Every time you surrender to fear, you shrink the size of your life, you diminish your confidence, and you postpone your potential. But every time you confront it, every time you act despite it, every time you move forward when fear is screaming at you to stop, You expand the limits of what is possible. You prove to yourself that your courage is stronger than your doubt, your determination stronger than your hesitation, and your vision stronger than your fear. Embracing fear is not a one-time act. It is a continuous practice. Every decision you make, every action you take, every challenge you face is an opportunity to choose courage over avoidance. The people who achieve the extraordinary understand that fear is not a signal to retreat. It is a signal to advance. They understand that true growth lies on the other side of discomfort, that their potential is waiting where fear is strongest, and that by leaning into fear, they can move faster, higher, and further than they ever imagine. When you embrace fear, you stop being a prisoner of your doubts and insecurities, and you start becoming the person you were meant to be. Fear no longer limits you, it propels you, it no longer holds you back, it pushes you forward. It no longer paralyzes you. It energizes you to take action, to pursue your goals, to claim your life, and to step fully into your power.